Hello, my beautiful, lovely kisses and starseed souls. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Kim. Let's get into a starseed spread. I did a vote on my community tab and the most votes were for the collective starseed reading. And I am going to do one more in depth where you can see my face. Today I was just very, very busy doing stuff and work all morning. And so that is why I do not look presentable today, but maybe I'll try to hop on here later. And there's some other ideas I want to film for my channel. We are going to do a spread today for the Starseeds. And I'm going to start off with the tarot. We're going to go into some oracle cards because I did receive a new deck, and we're going to end with a Mayan card if it permits. It is hard with my daughter napping at the moment. Oh my gosh, I've been getting this rainbow energy. Okay, let's see. Is there one more? No, this is it. Okay, so this is what I got so far. I'm going to pull clarifiers for these two, if you guys don't mind. Can I get a clarifier for the Queen of Wands? This is for this one, and this is for this one. These oracles, like this specific deck and my tarot, any of my tarot actually, I just got recently acclimated to the Trip and Wait tarot because I just ordered this one, but it acclimated to my energies pretty quickly. And I did receive a new deck today, which is the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and I do have her Work Your Light deck that you guys have seen many times, and I love both of these decks, but I want to acclimate their energies together. So today I'll be using this one separate, and then I think from here on out, either I'm going to acclimate their energies together by keeping them together and then go from there and see if I want to use them separately or conjoin them as one. And I know it'll be a lot of cards, but it's just what I want to do. I think they're friends. So we have Queen of Wands in reverse. So, oh my gosh, I feel like a lot of you feel like this past year especially, or even just like starting in 2020, like recently, there's like a light side and a dark side to it. Basically, the dark side I feel like is maybe because we're adjusting to these huge frequencies, because 2020 is going to be huge. I'm just letting you guys know 2020 is going to be huge. And though you may not believe it right now, it is. It's going to be huge for a lot of Starseeds. So I feel like because we're adjusting and acclimating to these huge transformative energies, you might have been experiencing some like outside rifts and like conflicts, or perhaps just with your own mind, or like feel like you've gone into like a streak of bad luck for just like the beginning of January. But honestly, this is not true. This is just because you're upgrading and you are adjusting to these high dimensional frequencies that we're going into for 2020. Like, this is huge, you guys. This isn't just me saying this is huge. Like, this is really huge. I feel it. I know it. I just do. And I think because you are embracing your light side, there's also the dark side. So I feel like this is shadow work. I feel like this is also, I hate to say like setting goals for yourself, but I think like more like along the lines of setting habits, and especially with the new year. Especially with the new year, I feel like a lot of you had already started that going into this year or are starting to now. But I feel like a lot of you are just feeling like, like, why is this year so special? Why is this all happening like already? Like, is this supposed to be a good year? This is supposed to be a good year. Trust me, it is. It's going to be huge. And the reason that you're kind of just starting to experience just these like blips of conflict just in like January and February, it's letting you know that you're adjusting and you're acclimating to these huge higher dimensional frequencies and these huge changes that are occurring for this year. That's all it is. It's just your energy adjusting with the energies. That is all it is. So I don't want you to think too much into it. I don't want you to like focus on it. I want you to focus on all the things that you want to manifest, all the things that you are starting to transform for yourself, because you are doing it. You're transforming like the sunflower, and also the sunflower frequency. I am going to send that again in my comments. It's like such a common message that I've been getting recently, not just for clients, but for like all my collective readings. So Queen of Summer, loving, comforting, emotional, intuitive. So this is saying, listen to your heart, okay? Intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others, perhaps too much. So yes, I've been feeling like, especially last year, a lot of you just kind of neglected yourself in a way, and not because you wanted to, just because you kind of had to adjust to your environment or your workspace or your workload or whatever it is. But I see you guys this year taking a lot of that into your own hands. And especially now, and I think because you're stepping into this self-care, and not even just self-care, but like self-respect mode, where you're like, I am the queen, and you will address me as the queen because this is who I am, and I finally know who I am, what I am, and you better respect me. You better respect me because I understand my true nature now. I understand all that I am, and now I'm not in a snooty way, just in a way where you're putting yourself first now, and you're coming into your own. And because of this, you're going to receive some shadow, just a little bit, because a lot of people aren't used to you acting this way. A lot of energies aren't used to your new energy, okay, that you're coming into. But it's wanting you to know to trust yourself, to listen to your heart, to trust your intuitive insights, and to take care of yourself now. Because you can't take care of others unless you're doing some things for yourself first. And so it's really like reiterating that, like, you need to do this for yourself. Okay? Like now. Stat. So that's that message. We have King of Wands in reverse. And like I said, my next reading, I want to do a collective starseed reading, but I think like the emotions, the frequencies, and the energies will change, obviously, by the time I do that one. And I want it to be face-to-face, more personalized for you guys. So keep that in mind. But I did want to express the energies that need to be expressed here and today and now. And time is just an illusion. So whenever you're drawn to this, obviously, these are the messages that you're needing to hear. So King of Wands in the reverse. This is interesting because there's like a lot of reptilian energies in this card, and I feel like I hate to talk about like reptilian energies because I know it's so like paradoxical, and there's so many like scrutinies and judgments attached to this, but I feel like everyone's just so afraid of going there, and I guess I'm just gonna kind of go there a little bit. I think honestly we're just transmuting a lot of these energies. And there's a lot of good ones that want to be transmuted. There's a lot of good ones that want to change their ways. And I think because this is in the reverse, like a lot of you are scared to transmute some of those energies. But yet some of these energies need to be forgiven. Some of these energies need to be transmuted. And not all of them. You are the best judge of character with energy. I'm leaving that up to you. This is just simply the message, the collective message. I do see a lot of us though. I do see a lot of us like noticing the ones that are of good nature and transmuting those energies so that way they can acclimate to the new energies of the new earth, because we are trying to go into this unity consciousness, right? So that's all I'm seeing there. 10 of Winter. So this is the resolution of difficulties, a weight being lifted off your shoulders, the end of an addiction or codependency. So perhaps like you always like regard these like energies or darker energies as reptilian, but they're not always reptilian. Like I said, there's good and bad to everyone and everything. And so it's kind of like releasing judgments for this. And I think that's going to help lift a huge weight off your shoulders. There are some of these energies that do need to be forgiven, okay? But like I said, you be the best judge of character for that. You know where to draw your boundaries. You know where it's like, okay, I notice you. I notice you're actually trying to change into like a good energy. And therefore, I will assist you with that because I hold the light and I will help transmute it. But you have to be a very good judge character with this too. So I'm leaving it up to you guys. But I see a lot of resolution of difficulties for you happening, especially now, because we came from this like iffy energy starting in January, but now kind of going into February. You might still feel some blips of difficulties arising because of the huge transformational energies that we're acclimating to and adjusting to, but I do see resolution of difficulties definitely picking up for you, especially this year. And there is going to be weight lifted off your shoulders, and you're also going to come to an end of an addiction or codependency, and this is huge for so many starseeds. Either you're not going to be codependent on anything at all, keep anything in mind, whether that's like self-sabotage behaviors, negative thinking patterns, an actual person, just your nature of being codependent and coming into your empowerment and independence. This is also ends of addictions, whether it be with foods or bad habits or just anything, any kind of addiction. So I do see that for this year. This is, like I said, a huge transformational year, and especially with the Tower card, like a lot may feel like it's coming, like crumbling down for you. Well, especially I think at the beginning of January, this is just for some people, but also you're like, this is such a funny energy card, because what I'm getting with this, just for this specific reading, is I see a lot of you feel like things were coming undone or things were going the way as expected. You were kind of like swimming against the current, but honestly, the only reason this occurred is because the universe and this year is preparing you to build back up your tower. That is the only reason you've been feeling this way. Okay, so it's not just like an illusion or illusory. I can't talk, but it's actually for you to know that you have the capabilities to do this on your own. You have the capabilities to do this all yourself and to rebuild everything for yourself. And so the universe was showing you all this for that reason. And also, I think because we have the mermaids here, like, I'm going to go with divine masculine, divine feminine. I think there's divine unions here coming into play. I think a lot of starseeds are going to come into meeting up with either their soulmate or someone they love of the opposite sex. But also I see a lot of you aligning with your divine feminine, divine masculine, divine God, divine goddess, yourself in the 3D realm, along with your higher self and more spiritual self. So I see you guys building your own castle in a sense, and I just see that the reason all these energies seem so like opposite of this direct nature is because it was preparing you for this direct nature, because it's only up from here. Do you hear me? It is only up from here. And so this was simply preparing you. And I hope that makes sense. I know it does for me, but I want to make sure it makes sense for you guys. But I think for some of you it will. Again, this is a collective reading, but that's what I'm getting from this specific shuffle. Then the last card is, I think you guys are going to be either moving or taking an adventure, okay? Expanding your horizons. I also see you guys leaving behind things that no longer served you and going into the direction of your heart and of peace. Okay, so like whatever was dramatic or whatever was like lower vibrational, I do see a lot of starseeds finally like taking the leap and going off. And not always on your own. Like I do see support with you. I see support with you, supportive people, maybe even family members or lovers or just friends, but soul family. But I do see a lot of you taking adventures, and I do see a lot of you just leaving behind things that just did not resonate with your high frequency. Okay, and so I do see that. And also, I see you keeping up boundaries, which is good, but make sure to keep those boundaries in a healthy way. So let's say you put up a boundary for someone that did something to you, but you haven't forgiven them. This is saying you need to at least energetically forgive them. You can still keep the boundary, but make sure you energetically forgive. Because if you don't, it's kind of like holes in your ship, and it's just going to cause you to sink because the energy is still hanging around. So you do have to forgive these energies. It's really important. It's really important, okay? But you are making way. You're making room for brighter days, for more peaceful energies acclimated to your energy. And I'm feeling like a lot of Sagittarius is watching this, and not just because this is like the adventure card. And Cancers and Scorpios. I was drawn to those 3 signs, but you could be any sign watching this, obviously. I just feel like these changes, especially for Cancer, Sagittarius, and Scorpios, are huge. But notice how that's a fire sign, 2 water signs. So I think if like you're a fire or water, it could be. Also, I want to point out that we have the Lemurian awakening also, and see how we have the mermaids here, because this is like an eye-opening moment of not just Lemuria, but I think of Mintaka as well. I think of Manataka, and I've been receiving like random messages recently according to these 2 legends. One is of the stars, one is of the 3D plane of the Native Americans of Manataka. I'll put that story below, but it's highly resonatory because it has a lot to do with unity consciousness and raising awareness and bringing heaven onto earth, which is also of Lemuria. And notice that like Mintaka and Lemuria hold mer people. So there's a lot to do with like the mer energies, the oceanic creatures. Also, I've been seeing a lot recently that we're bringing in these bird energies as well, the avian starseeds, the bird starseeds. And so we've kind of like gone from like water to air, but I think it's just because like everyone's waking up, everything's waking up. And even though you wouldn't acclimate the birds of the water nature, they still are resonatory. They're still resonatory. They still reflect one another. So I'm just throwing that out there. Also, we have the rainbow energy here, and if you listen to the story of Manataka, they talk about the rainbow woman that becomes awakened, and it's also the signifying and symbolizing peace, and also bringing heaven onto earth, and also God's promise, and also people of all colors, of all races, of all different thought patterns and opinions who didn't get along. Some of which did, but some of which did not. But they all came together in the spot of Manataka and held hands and came together as one in unity, consciousness, and peace. And so I think the rainbow is really signifying that here. And also I've just been drawn to the rainbow like crazy lately. So it's so suiting that it came out here in this shuffle. I'm still figuring out more having to do with this. There's more to it. Some of which is more personal, some of which I will expand on later on. I did want to pull a Mayan card for you guys before I get going. So I do have some catching up to do with some clients' readings. I did finish most of them, so I want to make sure I get them done. This is the card. So this is Ben. And when I think of Ben, I think of Big Ben, which is the clock. And it's so funny. Like, it's just kind of like having to do with time, having to do with like an inside idea that I know of. So that's why I chuckled. But let's see. It's all having to do with time. All having to do with time. I just think of my grandfather clock, and that's why. And the sound it makes. Okay, here we go. So this is a long definition, but I'm just gonna kind of summarize it here for you. So this is fluid reference points. This is time/space, so it does have to do with time. How ironic is that? Time/space traveler. Okay, this is very significant. I've been seeing a lot of messages about time travel lately, as I know you have, and space travel. Skywalker, angelic messenger, pillars of heaven, bringing heaven down to earth, the channel, the pillars. I received a message about the 4 pillars too, actually, recently. And there's 4 pillars, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 split here. Heaven coming down to earth. Like, that's crazy to me. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Courage, compassion, mysterious journey, journey. Okay, so Ben is the Skywalker, the time-space traveler who can leap dimensions to assist you in realizing heaven on earth. I cannot make this up, you guys. Like, I literally cannot. I couldn't even plan this out if I wanted to. Like, I literally couldn't plan this. That's crazy. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I trust in it. It's just, it's so crazy when it's that synchronistic, but we're going to keep going. Ben is unlimited in form, but often chooses the form of the angelic messenger. A person who embodies cosmic wisdom may be known as a Skywalker, sage, or a Bodhisattva. I can't say that word. When others see such a light in human form, they feel the vibration of heaven. This vibration may be embodied by you or experienced with a guru, a master, an energy such as Ben, or in a chance encounter with an extraordinary human being. Are you sure they're human? I apologize. An encounter with the energy of Ben can spark a deep yearning within you for reunion within the source. With the source. Yet from this place of love and compassion, you also have a desire embodied in physical form to serve the light. This is the place in you that has the courage to fully express unconditional love, the depths of your being. Ben asks you to live the new myth by bringing this heaven on earth in your daily life. This is a huge message. As this reality is lived, it touches and awakens the same truth in others. Be ye as a little child to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Once you have been touched by the angelic presence of Ben, you are like a bell that has been struck. The cosmic tone, the new vibration, continuing forever. I am as struck as a bell. Once struck, there is no return. May the light of my flow into the lives of all I touch and be gifted infinitely. As you awaken, evoke the angelic presence of Ben, and you will remember you too have wings. Following is a story about your star-seeded roots. So I'm going to read this. Like I said, this is really long, but I'll read up to the shadow wisdom part. Okay. In the beginning, you were one in the radiant source that is unity. Out of creative love, energy exploded, becoming individualized aspects called starseeds, essences, or angels. The source created these holographic seedings of the dimensions and essences in order to evolve the greater reality. Thus, cosmic consciousness expanded in many directions simultaneously. When the myth call was sent out for the great transformation of Gaia, planet Earth, beings from many dimensions and star systems answered, incarnating at divinely appointed junctures in the evolutionary process. On entering time and space, these beings, yourself among them, were veiled, appearing separate from their true identities. Their expanded essences, their I am presences. Now is the time to remember. Now is the time to embody your true identity as love. Together in balance, we create the pillars of the etheric temples of heaven on earth. Ben also represents balance in your life. That's an amazing story. It's true. It represents balance in your life. Not static balance, but a dynamic equilibrium that includes both your present expression and your star-seeded self. In Ben's starglyph, you can see that the pillars of heaven don't appear to touch the earth. You are the element that appears to be missing in the starglyph. You are the one whose expression of the light assists in drawing and connecting the pillars of heaven to earth. We all need each other, and you are key. You are part of this missing piece. Joining these pillars in yourself can also be viewed as reuniting your male and female aspects. Divine masculine, divine feminine. Bring the archetypes of the divine masculine and feminine into balance to birth the remembrance of the divine child within you. The joining of the pillars is depicted in various parts of the starglyph. While the line across the earth may appear to be a dimensional boundary, it is actually a semi-permeable membrane representing the illusion of separation from heaven. Wow, I love this. It is the altar on which the illusion of duality is resolved and integrated. It also represents the thin veil between dimensional realities. This membrane allows the light of the higher mind to touch those beings who are reaching for it. Step through the membrane in your own way. You are seated with the ability to do so. Ask in meditation to be shown how to shift your points of reference. Align yourself with the one mind and with the galactic vortices in time and space. This creates a fluid new center of gravity that allows you to access naturally the dimensions between the worlds. Ben can be looked at as the bridge between realities. Another way of accessing this position through meditation is by simultaneously holding your awareness in clear focus and at the same time a feeling of open surrender. Focus on a candle flame, a mandala, or a sacred object. As you allow your focus to diffuse, your vision, you begin to open and you may sense other perceptual grids. With the energy of Ben, you may then sense a soft, loving feeling accompanied by a sensation of gently falling backward, upward, or inward. Yet another means of finding your key to the dimensional worlds is to go inside and sense yourself reaching the infinite, forming the connected pillar of true self. From this foundation, your reference points shift, opening you to worlds without end. Your heart becomes the resonant foundation for the love of cosmic consciousness. This is the secret that only the heart knows. Here I am that I am. And as you step more fully into your I am presence, you simply become the altar upon which the consciousness of the Creator can then descend. As you merge with this consciousness, you become a skywalker or spiritual adventurer, able to pass through the veil, the membrane of dimensions, to experience sensations freed from the seeming separation of a limited third dimensional reality. As you and others journey into these dimensional realities, you create a sluiceway, a bridge for others to access on the return path to the stars. Wow. Your light body is being developed and quickened, assisting you in preparing for transmutation. This ignition of the light body happens naturally as you access the frequencies of the new reality emerging 2020. The number for Ben is 13, the vibration of universal movement inherent in the evolution of the light. According to Jose Agrulis, 13 is the solar number, the prime light information wave. It represents the means for interdimensional shift. With Ben, you become the Skywalker who moves through the dimensions. The color of Ben is a soft sunset pink, the rose color of the heart chakra, the birth of unconditional love. Ben assists you in expressing self-love so that you truly have compassion for others, for other yourselves, for other yous. As the Maya say, in Lak Ek, I am another yourself. I am another you. This color helps you connect with love and its power that heals. If you wish to access this energy, focus on the hues of pink sunset. Okay, so this is also you focusing on courage. Feeling like the shadow aspect of this is like feeling difficulty coping with the abrasive edges of daily life, or like the old perceptions of it, or becoming a hermit. You need to go deeper and look at your hidden needs as the root source of underlying issues or reactions. And you're going to be finding the balance between solitude and service for the world, because you are helping to bring the light of heaven into the world. So if you feel discouraged, draw even more light into yourself. An angelic messenger offers you unconditional love and courage and strength. So call on this angel when you're feeling this way and just draw more light in, and know that like it's okay to be a hermit, but it's also important to help us bring about this heaven on earth, because you are just as important as the person next to you, and there is no separation. The membrane is simply an illusion. There is heaven on earth, but we just have to diffuse this membrane of separation, which was programmed into our being. And I think once we do that, we'll be fine. And we're almost there. It's a thin membrane, and I feel like a lot of us more and more are realizing it. The harmonic wisdom of Ben is balance, the movement of parts in pleasing relationship or harmony with one another. Balance in Ben is experienced as a dynamic equilibrium. It is both a sense and an attitude. The natural state of every system moves towards a balance that is fluid and free, as in dance. That balance is experienced differently by each person, but it often brings a sense of steadiness or centeredness even in the midst of movement and change. When you are dancing, you can use your very state of imbalance to create the fluidity of the dance. As you access Ben with your being, your entire energetic field can be altered. When this newly created field meets others of like resonance, it creates a pattern of identical tones in other beings. In other words, your spiritual evolution is offered to the morphogenetic field that makes it easier for the next human's evolution. This is the simple way in which heaven is brought to earth. For more information on this phenomenon, read about Rupert Sheldrake's, and that's Sheldrakes, Rupert Sheldrake's morphogenetic fields theory in his book, A New Science of Life. A simplified version is also presented in Marilyn Ferguson's The Aquarian Conspiracy. So you could check out those two books as well. But that was an amazing card, an amazing reading, and it was so synchronistic. And I just really wanted to thank all of you for all the work that you've put in your whole life up to this moment, and that you're still putting in, because you are so crucial to this process. You are important. You are just as important as anyone else. Everyone is important. We are all one, okay? And we all have a role to play. We are all coming together as one. We all need to share our gifts and shine our light and shine it brighter. And I'm encouraging every single one of you watching this to do this year, because this is a huge year of change. And not only that, but you are coming into your own. It's just going to happen naturally. And so you may as well welcome it, because who wouldn't want heaven on earth? This is what we're coming into. This is what we're going to be experiencing. And we all have a role to play, and we all need one another, and we're all important. So start treating yourself as such. Start treating yourself as the person that you love the most, which should be you, and your neighbor, and your best friend, and your mom and dad. Treat yourself as you would treat anyone else. And treat anyone else as you would treat yourself. And I think that's the underlying message. And just love everyone and do everything in kindness and as much as you can. And try to program out of this old way of programming these lower vibrations, and try to bring more of the high vibrations in and more of your own unique light in, so that way you have more of it to shine out onto others and inspire them to do the same, which is the domino effect, which brings this Mintaka, Manataka, heaven on earth, down to earth. And let's make it happen, guys. Let's be the pillars of change. And I think 2020 is a magnificent year for that. And I think we're just experiencing a lot of dimension shifting and a lot of timeline shifting and changes. And I think it's really, really an exciting time to be alive right now. So please know that how blessed you are. Be excited. Do not shed yourself in fear, because fear is so lower vibrational, and that is not of heaven. It is not of God. It is not of the Creator. And the Creator wants you to love yourself just as much as He loves you or your neighbor or anyone else. So I love you all so much. Thank you so much, beautiful Starseed souls, for tuning in. I'm hoping to do another reading here soon. Just embrace that unity consciousness, spread the love, spread your light. And until next time, I will talk to you all soon. I love each and every one of you. I am you. I love you. Bye.